What's going on, everyone? Gramps here, and thank you so much for clicking on this video. Today we're playing some Formula One, mobile of course. Our first race is going to be on Sochi. So this is going to be a sprint race, so that means we can and will hit other people. So this is kind of the theme of today, is like comeback drives, and as you can see right away, I drive off the track there. So Sochi, with the sprint race start, it's weird. It actually it gives you control over your controls about a corner before the actual flag. I totally forgot about that, and obviously right there, as you guys saw, I forgot and drove off the track. So as you can see in the timing up in the left-hand corner, we are down by quite a bit, over a second and a half right now to our opponent. So we have a lot of driving to do, but luckily, as you can see, he gets a penalty right there. He kind of goes wide and either hits the wall or cuts the corner. Or sometimes if you go on the outside, it'll still say you cut the corner. Anyway, long story short, he got a penalty. So we've actually closed up the gap a little bit. We took that corner bad though, so we're about half a second away. So it's not too bad. We were down by over a second earlier, so it's getting close, and we actually get a pretty decent exit right there. But as you can see, I think we have the top end on this guy just by a little bit. We can see the gap coming down just to 0.35 almost, it looks like. And he actually brakes super early. I don't know why, and we actually end up passing him. We get the go system going on, and this is probably the closest I've ever been to hitting the wall. Oh, look at that. We're going to rewind that. I don't know how I didn't hit that. There was probably like a pixel maybe on the screen. And with all that epic driving, we're now just about almost a second ahead of our opponent, and we're going to end up cruising to a nice little comeback victory. I'm all happy on the controls, weaving around. I don't know how I didn't hit the wall. You can rewind that and go back. I literally can't see a pixel between the tire and the wall, but somehow we skated by and ended up taking the W on that one. And we were actually both really close together on the engine upgrades too, so good race. The second one's actually going to be a qualifying race over in China, the Chinese track. And this one I'm not too familiar with. I mean, I played it a bit more now, so I am a little bit more familiar, but this race I had no clue what I was doing, as you can see. And if you look in the bottom left-hand corner real quick, I actually got Ghost Touch. Yeah, Ghost Touch in Formula One. And just go right off the track. And as a result of that, we are, as you can see in the left-hand corner, we're down by over 2 seconds, which in motorsport times, F1 times, that's a long time. And we make it worse by driving off the track again. And we've now extended that gap to about 3 seconds now. So I am basically dug myself a hole, and somehow have to get out of it. And you know what better thing to do is just drive off the track again. So not having a fun time, just straight up not having a fun time out here, man. But as you can see in the timing, we're actually still kind of hanging with this guy. So as long as we don't drive off the track for a fourth time, we actually could maybe catch up. And on this straightaway here, you can actually see we have the top end again, and with some DRS, we might be able to bring this gap down to something manageable here. It stops right around 1.25. He hits his brakes. I hit my brakes. Actually, I hit my brakes a little bit better, and we bring that gap down to 0.3. And there's just one more corner. I'm actually not going to lift at all. We're just going to send it on the last corner. We're going to hit that DRS button and cruise to another comeback victory. I don't know how we ended up winning this. I drove off the track like 3, maybe 4 times, and somehow we end up winning. We're going to go ahead and check the upgrade sheet here real quick, see what his numbers are. And actually, I have 300 points less than him, so pretty crazy. My setup was for the top end on that race, and it really helped out. Anyway, to the Canadian track, it's going to be a grid start. I kind of botched my start here, and the guy in front of me just hits the car in front of him, and then I kind of go into him, and then I go past him somehow. Didn't really put up a fight. But we're basically almost side by side right here, and I end up getting a little bit more of a lead and take the position. So I don't know really what happened in the beginning there. I had a bad start, and he definitely got the jump on me, but then I think he went to the back of the AI, and he slowed down a lot, and then I went into the back of him, and then just went to the side and got around him. So kind of a weird start there, but we're over a second and a half up on our opponent, so if anything, it's worked out for me. And this is kind of an example of the AIs. You know, you're not really racing against them, so that's fine, but they really can mess up your race, and we're over a second ahead of our opponent, and with that little tap of the AI, you know, we've gotten brought down to 0.2 just trying to get past the AI. They really slow you down a bit. If you can't get past them, they really can make some trouble for your race. And as you can see, he's actually gaining on me for a second, but we actually end up getting the top end. It was really weird. If you rewind that, he was definitely gaining on me, but then I think he like lifted or maybe just had some sort of error, and basically loses all of his momentum, and we're going to go ahead and nail the chicane there. You can really cut that last chicane. Not a lot of people do that. I don't know if they really know you can do that. But yeah, we end up taking the W again. A little bit, wasn't much as a comeback race, but still a good race nevertheless. We're going to another qualifying. It's going to be in Abu Dhabi, Yas Marina. Yas. So it's going to be qualifying. We're going to kind of get ourselves out of the gate there with a 0.3 lead. And so let me know how you guys feel about the qualifyings versus the kind of the grid starts and the sprint races. So with the sprint races and the grid starts, you know, obviously I can like hit AIs, and AIs are there, and there's more physical with the qualifying. It's just basically who can set the fastest lap. Let me know what you guys prefer. With the qualifyings, I don't just when I keep qualifying, because personally for me, I feel like the grid starts and the sprint races are more entertaining because there's more possible chance for contact and stuff like that. But I will say, if I do upload a qualifying race, I will be a good qualifying race. It'll be like a really close race. It won't be like a blowout or anything like that. So yeah, just let me know what you guys prefer. I can do either or. But anyway, back to this qualifying. He literally has been there the whole time. We've never been half a second past each other. This is a really, really close qualifying. He actually does have the top end on me as well. In the last two straights, I don't know if you could tell, he was definitely gaining on the top end there. So we basically just have to outdrive him on the corners and see what happens. So he's actually gained even more, and we're less than a tenth away from each other. I get a decent exit on the penultimate corner, and it ends up that we end up winning just by the shallowest of margins, by 0.4. Really close race there. He had more of the top end, so I really had to make sure I was faster in the corners and out of the corners. So we ended up taking that W there. I'm going to check to see the spec sheet. Only about 100 points difference between the two. He had a little bit more than me. But yeah, a good race nonetheless. And here's a little bit, another example of what AIs, or how AIs can ruin your race. Just a little example. I'm just trying to get past Mr. Max Verstappen here, and yeah, doesn't really go well. Really, it was actually a really close race, but yeah, hit the AIs, and as you can see, you know, they can really just mess up your race. Like, so yeah, gotta keep an eye out for the AIs. So this is going to be the final race. It's going to be another quali. Again, just had a really a lot of good qualifying matches, really evenly matched. This one's going to be on the French circuit. Don't even ask me how to pronounce it. I'm not going to try to pronounce it. So yeah, it's the French circuit though. This circuit really, it still confuses me sometimes. There's so many lines, and sometimes it's hard to tell like what's a corner and like what's like a different part of the circuit. It's like, is this the Grand Prix circuit? Is this the short part of the circuit? Like, what are we doing here? But yeah, I don't know. I wish they didn't have the blue lines on this circuit, to be honest. But it makes it unique, kind of makes it challenging, I guess. But back to the race, we have the top end on this guy. As you can see, we're on the straightaway. We're actually bringing down the gap a little bit, down to 0.2, and we're going to go back onto the second straightaway. He gets better exits, so I'm assuming he has better acceleration, maybe equipment upgraded, or he could just be getting better. He could be getting on the power before me as well. I'm not really good at the French circuit, to be honest. A lot of the corners are very high speed, and there's no real low speed corners, so it's kind of challenging for me. But anyway, we're actually still behind this guy. We're really close. We're only about half a second away, so it's really close, but we just can't seem to bring it in. There's only about 3 corners left, so if I got to do it, it's got to be basically now. He goes wide a little bit, and I know I have the top speed, so it's just about a drag race to see who can get to the finish line first. And we're actually going to barely win it just by 0.10. Really close race at the end. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Formula 1 series, and thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to check out my other videos as well on here and on my main channel. But once again, thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.